Hey everyone! In this video, we're gonna take a look at the 12 Star Wars Tsums in this month's first selection box, but man, this month there's a lot going on. Although we didn't get Jedi Luke, there are still so many Tsums to be excited about, and I'm gonna be sharing with you my top 3 picks from this month's selection box, and as you could probably tell from the title of this video, I spent all of my coins trying to max out the best Tsum from this selection box. I spent all of 2,648,206 coins, and I was able to open a total of 88 boxes. And if you're interested in seeing what my drop rates are, stay tuned and I'll be sharing those stats with you. But in this box, we have Luke, R2-D2, Yoda, Darth Vader, Stormtrooper, BB-8, Kylo Ren, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Master Luke, Ben Kenobi, and Anakin Skywalker. So let's go right into it and go over all of these Tsums individually. I'm also going to leave the video up on the right hand side where I'm actually opening up all of these selection boxes. There's going to be 88 boxes, so I'm going to show you the stats at the very end of these openings to show you what my drop rates were for each and one of these. But for now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about each one of them and then share with you what my thoughts are and their animation, their ability, and if it's worth it or not. So the first one we're going to talk about is Master Luke. So Master Luke will move random Tsums in a diagonal line and clears them. So this Tsum, as you level them up, the range will get bigger and it will need less Tsums to activate the ability. I do like Master Luke. Master Luke is in my top 3 and I do like him a lot compared to the other ones. He is very easy to use. You don't need to use gyro. And yeah, you just activate his ability, earn a lot of coins, and earn a lot of score as well. Alright, next is Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker is by far the best one you could get in this selection box. He is rated one of the top tiers for coin earning, so if you want a top coin earner or top coin farmer, then you definitely want to get Anakin Skywalker. He isn't necessarily the easiest to use, but he is ranging, I would say, like medium. He's not the easiest and not the hardest. You will need to learn how to use gyro and tilt your phone a little bit, but it's very simple. It's not going to be as difficult as Jedi Luke, where you have to time it. Anakin Skywalker, you have a lot of grace period in terms of when to activate the ability, but essentially his ability is clear a line of Tsum when tapped. And this is a little tricky. What I do is I actually don't tap, and I actually hold down and swipe. So stay tuned when I do the side-by-side comparison of all of these animations, and I'll share with you what the animations are and how to properly activate them. And actually, because Anakin Skywalker is such an important character in my opinion, that I'm actually going to do a separate video focusing on skill level 4, 5, and 6 and show you how to really use his ability. So I really like Anakin Skywalker. This is actually my top Tsum. I ended up not being able to max him out from all the coins I spent. I actually used my skill ticket, so I'll show you in a future video of his ability. Alright, so we'll go to the next one, and we have Ben Kenobi. Clears random Tsums and Tsums at the bottom. This description is a little weird because it clears random Tsums and Tsums at the bottom of the screen, which kind of doesn't make sense. I don't know why the and's in there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe that's a typo. It does, for me, it just doesn't make sense. But essentially, his animation clears the bottom section of the screen, which is pretty good. Definitely very easy to use. Like if you want to get a Tsum that's really easy to use, Ben Kenobi can be that Tsum for you. All right, next we have Yoda. Yoda, his description is all Tsums connected while the time is stopped are cleared as one chain. Unfortunately, I don't really like these type of abilities. It's just my personal preference. I don't like it where you have to do things during the animation in the middle to earn coins that doesn't really necessarily earn you a lot of coins. And for this one, you do have to try to swipe during, or not swipe, but connect Tsums during the ability. So what happens is during his animation is that the time stops, and then you have to then connect all of the Tsums that are related to one another and then clear them. I don't really like these abilities, but he is okay for coins at a decent skill level, at a pretty high skill level. He is okay for coins, but I just really don't like these type of abilities. I like abilities that are simple, kind of like the Ben Kenobis and the Anakin Skywalkers and Chewbacca. Like those ones are very easy. Well, you just tap it and then it happens and you clear a lot of Tsums. So for this one, you have to work for your chains, which I kind of don't like. Alright, next we have Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is one of those Tsums that are easy to use. It's clear Tsum Tsums in the shape of an inverted T, so essentially it's an upside down T, and it clears, I guess you could say, like the bottom section as well as the center vertically, and it clears in a T shape essentially. So you just want to make sure that the bottom section and the center area horizontally actually have a lot of Tsums, so that way when you activate the ability, it pops everything and you're good to go there. But anything below skill level 4 is going to be not that great, because I am also going to be factoring using the coin boost as well as the 5-4, so really not going to be great if you have Kylo Ren only at skill level 4 below. Skill level 4, maybe you can get away with it, but you have to be a very fast player. Alright, so next one we have Darth Vader. Darth Vader is in my top 3. Darth Vader acts essentially is exactly like Jedi Luke, but not as good. And the reason why he is not as good is because he requires a little bit more Tsums in order for you to activate it, and just the radius it doesn't clear the diameter like Jedi Luke. So Darth Vader's description is clear Tsum Tsums when you swipe. Again, animation and how to use Darth Vader is identical to Jedi Luke. So Darth Vader could be very viable for coins. I currently don't have him at skill level 6, but I do plan on maxing him out to skill level 6, so that way I could really compare him to Jedi Luke just to see what that is like. The ability is pretty similar, so I want to see what the difference is. With Jedi Luke at skill level 6, I could get up to 10 to 15,000 coins per gameplay. With Darth Vader, I wasn't able to, but I do only have him at skill level 5, so I haven't really done a true test yet. But Darth Vader is a very viable Tsum to get coins, so definitely I would recommend trying to get Darth Vader if you haven't done so yet. Next we have Stormtrooper. So Stormtrooper changes a vertical line of Tsums into Stormtroopers. Stormtrooper Tsum Tsum. So that's the actual description of Stormtrooper. And essentially what happens during the animation is a bunch of Stormtroopers marches in the center of the screen, and all these Tsums in the middle section vertically will turn into Stormtroopers. And then what happens after that animation, you will have to connect all the Stormtroopers and then try to clear all of them and pop all of them. So there is a little bit of trick to it. I wasn't able to really master it, so for that reason I don't really like Stormtrooper. Like I mentioned, I just like Tsums that you could just burst all the animations. So for that reason, I'm not a fan of Stormtrooper, and he's actually one of the Tsums that earns the least coins out of all the Tsums that are available this month. So I would say Stormtrooper, stay away, bad guy. Alright, next we have BB-8. BB-8 is one of those Tsums that are very easy to use that I like. His description is deletes all Tsums on the bottom of the screen. So it's simple as that. Once you activate the ability, he rolls around and clears in a U shape, but does clear the bottom section of all the Tsum Tsum. So very easy to use, and it is a good Tsum, so I do recommend trying to get it. Alright, so on to the next 4. So we have Luke. Luke clears in a shape of an X, and that's the description in the game. I have him at skill level 4 at the end of all these, so I'll show you him at skill level 6. Not that great, clears in an X shape. You really have to time it and strategize, where you want to make sure that the game in an X shape doesn't have a lot of gaps and has Tsums in the area. So yeah, Luke, unfortunately not that great. Next we have R2-D2, creates an electrical charge to clear Tsum Tsum. The animation for R2-D2 is amazing. I really like the animation. Every time I activate it, I feel like I'm in a thunderstorm, and I'm just wondering, where are these going to clear? But his clear radius is similar to, I would say, maybe like Kylo Ren, the upside down T shape. It's very similar to that. It clears not necessarily right at the bottom, but close to the bottom, and not necessarily in the center vertically, but off to the left. So it's in like a thunderbolt shape, which I think is pretty cool. I have him at skill level 5, and unfortunately not great for coins, but I really like the animation, so maybe get R2-D2 for the animation. Alright, so next we have Han Solo. Han Solo, this one, I feel like is the toughest one to use during the ability. His description is time your taps carefully to clear the center of the screen. So what happens during his animation is that you will have to tap the center of the screen when the enemy comes to the center of the I guess you could say the target range, and then you tap it, and then it will say fire, and if you tap it at the right time, it will say successful, and when it's successful, that's when you'll get a big circular clear. But from a coin earning potential, or if you're just trying to get through the game, Han Solo is actually, the animation is a little bit difficult. You have to time it perfectly, and that the time range of when you could tap, it's like less than half a second. So if you miss it, then you'll fail, and you'll still burst some bubbles, but it's in the smaller radius. So Han Solo is a little bit more difficult to use, but yeah, you know, if you are up for a challenge, then definitely try out Han Solo. I only have him at skill level 4, and with some practice I was able to get down the timing of activating the ability, but there are other Tsums to use that are better and also earns more coins and it requires less focus. So I like those Tsums better. Alright, and finally we have Chewbacca. Chewbacca's description is clears a horizontal line of Disney Tsum Tsum. So very simple, it just clears a horizontal line, kind of like Gadget, down the center of the screen. And I was able to get a decent amount of coins using Chewbacca at skill level 5, and I think if I tried harder and played faster, Chewbacca will actually be viable for coins. So that's these 12. So just to recap, my top 3, my number 1 is going to be Anakin Skywalker. He is going to be the top coin earner in the game in general. I would say definitely in the top 5. And Anakin is also relatively simple to use. There is a little bit of learning and a little bit of trick to it. I will show you in a future video, and also later when I do the side-by-side comparison. And then next, the second one, I would have to say Darth Vader is my number 2. And Darth Vader also earns a lot of coins. I got close to 4,000 at skill level 5. Maybe I was pretty good at using Darth Vader because I use Jedi Luke a lot. Jedi Luke is my primary Tsum that I use pretty much non-stop. And then number 3, I would have to say Master Luke. I like Master Luke because he was able to earn a lot of coins for me at skill level 5, above that 2,300 range for what my investment of 5-4 and coin boost. So definitely recommend Master Luke as well. All the other ones just don't really quite cut it for me. But again, I don't have all of the other ones maxed out. So I guess, yeah, top 3, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, and also Master Luke. So these are going to be my top 3. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the drop rates for all of the Tsums that I got. And the stats that you see here on the screen is after opening a total of 88 boxes, and these were my drop rates and percentages. And if you look closely, the 3 that I really wanted was Master Luke, Darth Vader, and Anakin Skywalker, all of which I got a lot of Tsums for, so I'm really happy for that. Like, Tsums that I really didn't want was like Luke and Yoda and Han Solo. I got a lot of Yodas, which is okay. I really didn't want Luke though, and also Han Solo, and both of which were on the lower side. So I'm actually really happy with the outcome of all the drop rates that I got for this particular box. I ended up not being able to max out Anakin Skywalker, but because I had a lot of skill tickets saved, I did max him out for the purpose of this video and also a future video where I will compare him at skill level 4, 5, and 6. But without further ado, let's go ahead and do a side-by-side comparison of all the Tsums that we have here. But primarily, it's not to compare them next to each other, but more so I could show you their animation, and then that way you can make a determination if you want to invest in them for their animation. So on the very left, we have Master Luke. And Master Luke's ability is very easy to use, like I mentioned. Ultimately, you just gotta make sure you activate him, and then his ability is just a bunch of Tsums is cleared, and then a bunch of lightsabers gets whacked, and more Tsums gets cleared, and a diagonal slash happens. And then the next one, we have Anakin Skywalker. I actually have gyro on here, and the way you want to use Anakin Skywalker is you want to tilt your phone right before you slash, and then you want to charge up your slash and then activate it. So I know on the description it says tap, but I didn't tap. I find it that the tapping doesn't really help you with coin earning. So you definitely want to just hold down the slash so it charges, and then swipe in the direction where you want to cut it. What I do is I tilt it to the right and I swipe to the right, like right there. If you are playing with like your left hand, you may want to swipe the other way. It comes down to your preference, but either way, left or right side, it doesn't matter. It just comes down to your preference. And then finally, we have Ben Kenobi on the right hand side. And Ben Kenobi's ability essentially is he brings a lot of Tsums up and uses the force and pushes it up and then slams it to the ground. Now that I'm actually seeing the animation, I think the description kind of makes sense because he first clears random Tsums, and then he clears the bottom. I think they should have added the word then, because clearing zooms and zooms at the bottom is kind of confusing. But these are the three. I'm also going to skip ahead and just show you the coin earning potential for all three of these at their respective skill level, and just to talk a little bit more, and so that way you can see if it's worth it for you to get them to earn some coins. So for both Master Luke and also Anakin Skywalker, they both beat the 2,300 threshold that I usually recommend. So I do think that Master Luke and Anakin Skywalker are good coin earners. Unfortunately, Ben Kenobi is not quite there yet, even at skill level 6. So that's why Master Luke and Anakin Skywalker is on my top 3 list. Those are definitely going to be the ones that you want to get here. Alright, so next we have Yoda, Kylo Ren, and Darth Vader. I have Yoda at skill level 5, Kylo Ren at skill level 4, and then Darth Vader at skill level 5. So let's start with Yoda first. So Yoda's ability, like I mentioned, is he will clear a bunch of zooms, or you activate the ability and then you have to connect the zooms in the ability, and then during the connection, after the time runs out, it will be one big chain instead of a bunch of little ones. So the first one that I got was 43 chains because I cleared pretty much the entire screen. So this is one that I mentioned I didn't like because you have to connect things during the animation. I just want things to be burst and call it a day. But yeah, so that's Yoda. Alright, now let's move to Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren will have his little upside down T shape. Essentially, it's his lightsaber, and it bursts a bunch of zooms on the screen. So not too much to it. The thing is that the screen does freeze during his animation. So you just want to make sure that there are going to be a lot of zooms on the screen, particularly on the bottom and vertically in the center, before you activate the ability, or else you're just going to lose out a lot of chains, which means you're going to get less coins and score as well. And then finally we have on the very right, Darth Vader. And Darth Vader works like Jedi Luke, and I'm really curious to see if Darth Vader functions just like Jedi Luke in terms of cornering potential at their respective skill levels, just to see the comparison. But yeah, Darth Vader, essentially what you want to do is when you activate his ability, you want to tilt your phone and then swipe up on the right side or the left side depending on where you swipe. So that's how you use Darth Vader. If you're familiar with Jedi Luke, Darth Vader is pretty much identical on how you want to use his ability. So I'm going to skip to the end here so we can look at the scores as well. So for Yoda, it's not going to be great. It does get to about 2,000 or so. And for Kylo Ren, it's also okay. It's in the 2,000 range, but not great. But Darth Vader is going to be very valuable. He is going to be a good coin earner, even at skill level 5. I never tried him at skill level 4, so I'm not sure about that. But yeah, definitely Darth Vader. That's why he's one of my top 3s, because he is also a good coin earner. And next we have Stormtrooper, BB-8, and also Luke. So unfortunately, Stormtrooper and Luke are not going to be great, but let's take a look at them anyways. So Stormtrooper, once you have his ability activated, these vertically in the center section, all the zooms that are there will turn into Stormtroopers. And then what you'll need to do is you'll just need to clear a bunch of the Stormtroopers to also activate the second ability after that. So you want to just make sure that in the center section that there are zooms when you activate Stormtrooper's ability, or else you'll just essentially waste your ability. So a lot of Stormtroopers will just walk up and then the center section becomes Stormtroopers, and then you try to clear a bunch of them and then activate the ability again like you just saw right there. And then in the center one we have BB-8 at skill level 5, and ultimately BB-8 will just roll across the bottom of the screen in a U shape and clear a bunch of zooms. I really like these type of animations because they're very simple to use and they clear a lot of zooms and you get a lot of coins. So BB-8, I really like these simple animations that get you a lot of coins. And then finally we have Luke on the right hand side at skill level 4, and unfortunately Luke is my least favorite compared to all the other ones, just because his score and cornering potential is so low. But the animation is kind of cool. You do see him fly across the screen twice, so the animation is cool, but unfortunately just it doesn't bring us a lot of coins and low on the score. But let's skip ahead so that way we could do a side-by-side comparison on the scores. Alright, so here you'll see all of the score, and as you can see, Stormtrooper is the worst performer out of all of them. So Stormtrooper is going to be bad, and BB-8 is going to be okay in the 2000 range, and then Luke is going to be just short of 2000, so not going to be great for coins. Alright, on to our final three. We have R2-D2, Han Solo, and Chewbacca. We have R2-D2 at skill level 5, Han Solo at skill level 4, and Chewbacca at skill level 5. And so let's take a look at R2-D2 first on the left hand side. And like I mentioned earlier, I really like the animation here. The animation gets activated and a thunderstorm shape lightning bolts shoots up from the left and right, and that's insignia is just amazing to see. I really love that shape. And I think the shape does remain the same on all of the abilities, so that part doesn't change. Very similar to Kylo Ren's T-shape, so upside down T-shape. So I do like R2-D2. It's better than Kylo Ren. Okay, so on to the middle one, Han Solo. This is the one that I found the most difficult because you have to time it properly. If you don't, then you'll fail. So if you are successful, the circle burst will be a lot bigger. I did purposely fail one of them so that way you can see what happens when you fail it. So stay tuned for one of those. But if you do get it right, the burst bubble is pretty big in the center section. But there are other Tsums you could use that have magic bubble that bursts in the middle. So I don't necessarily see why you have to use Han Solo. So there are better Tsums out there. Alright, and then on the right is Chewbacca. Chewbacca is one of those simple ones where it just clears the center of the screen horizontally, and it's nothing special. It just clears across the screen, and it's very easy to use, very friendly, beginner friendly. Yeah, so if you are a beginner player, don't want to have to deal with like timing things or swiping things and tapping things during the ability, then yeah, Chewbacca will be great. Alright, so that's these three. Let me go ahead and also skip forward so we could take a look at the coin earning potential. Okay, on the left we have R2-D2 and just shy of 2000, so not too bad but not great either. I think if you played fast you'd be okay. Han Solo 1614, not that great, and Chewbacca got to 2020, so that's not too bad either. So that's it for all 12 of these Tsums. Hopefully you found this video helpful. I know it was a lengthy one, but I felt like there was a lot of information that I needed to get out there. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please consider subscribing. I'm going to continue to pump out more useful information for you just to enhance your Tsum experience, and just really your support really means a lot to me. So scroll down, hit the subscribe button, and also give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, thank you so much for watching.